let's start. So first of all, what I will do, I would like to check your live application on the Netlify. Uh, then I will go to the docs, and then we'll go through the code. So I see that you have a white application. If you ask me, I would change this favicon to something different. And first of all, I will start with the basic checks. Basically, your console log. This is nothing. This is not yours. This is fine. It is responsive. Let me check it. Ultra wide screens, good. Narrow screens, good. User agent, cool. Good. Okay, cool. So it works well. And okay, let me check my location. And let's say Santa Cruz. Will it find it? I'm not sure if it's me. Okay, let me do it different way. I will write Funchal, cloudy, the date, and humidity feels like sunrise, sunset. Cool, works well. Um, I would like to add one thing. Um, Maybe it's just some nitpicking, but I'm usually most people are used to Celsius. So you can add, I would add something like 72 degrees Fahrenheit slash something, or you can select here somewhere in the settings, like what would you prefer? Would you prefer, would you prefer the Fahrenheit or would you prefer the Celsius? It's good. Let me see how will it react if I add it small. What if I will use something different? Okay. You've got a network error. And of course, because they don't understand Kyrillics. This is good. City not found. Try again. Okay, good. And what if I will put space, 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 funchal, space, space, space? It works well, so it's streaming. It's good. Okay, that does work well. Let me go through your network tab, payload, we're sending payload funchal. Okay, okay. I'm not sure. Is it your API key? And if it's your API key, it's not the best way to show it in your app. Honestly, it needs to be hidden somewhere. So it should be sent in the request in the other way. It should be sent through the headers at least. Okay, preview. So basically the basic API call and gives you all the information. Feels like temperature. Okay. Country, Portugal, ID, and so on. Weather. Okay. Okay, degrees, this and that, and clouds. Okay, cool. This looks fine to me. And let's go to the documentation. So I saw you have made some documentation over here. It's a light weather app using the Open Weather Map API built with White, React, TypeScript, Redux, and Tailwind. Project was inspired by Konstantin Münster via a Medium article on organizing a React project. The article gives an overview on how to plan a React project, how to organize your components with a folder structure. Okay. Okay, it's closed one. From what I see, I would suggest you to maybe deviate a bit from this project because I think you are not the only one with this project. Because if you refresh, okay, so on refresh, this looks very similar. So try to add at least some different drawings and your own illustrations, or maybe use some other illustrations, but and the theme. So they have to be really different. Let me try Melbourne. Melbourne sunshine, good. Let me try my home city, Odessa. Okay, good. Um, I'm not really sure what this sunrise time and sunset time is because I'm sure that it's not 409. You know this because it has never been 409. So it is most the UTC time. So I would strongly recommend you to put it here. What is the UTC time? Maybe what you can do, let me see in the request. I'm not sure if the API provides that. Yeah, you have some time zone over here. I'm not really sure what this time zone means, but I think you can find it in the documentation. And I would suggest you to put sunrise 0409 UTC and the local time, because if I'm looking for my own city, or let's say if I will look for something like Beijing, and the Beijing information is like sunrise 22:36, looks weird, and sunset 11:56. It's not like that, you know. Another thing which I would say from the UI UX perspective, first of all, it is a bit harder, but it would be nice to provide suggestions over here. So let me go to their API actually. Mm, current weather, blah blah blah. Search city. Okay. I'm not sure if their API provides forecast, but it would be also a very nice feature to make. Anyway, what I would suggest you from the UI UX perspective, uh, give some definition to this button, because I'm really not sure what this button does. First of all, second of all, the state of this button. It's always showing like it's blinking over here, like it's slowly moving. The gradient is changing. So I would make the gradient do something only on hover, and when you open it, you just gray it out because it's already opened. And give some label here saying like more information or something. That would be a nice touch. Other than that, click to refresh. You can refresh. Yeah, so it works well. I would suggest add some suggestions. I think there is something like country cities API maybe, where you can get like a free API to fetch for the cities, and what you can do is yeah, most probably this one will work. Why I cannot click? Wow. GeoDB REST API. Okay. Um, so most probably they have a free tier, free GraphQL REST, 86,000 requests per day. That can be, it will fulfill the requirements completely. So what I would do when somebody is typing here, let's say what you could do, you could make that on the third letter, when the user enters third letter, like funchal, for example. I'm writing funchal. Add a debounce function that after like 2 seconds after each button click, it will send the request against that GeoDB API, and it will return you back with the list of cities that match that query, and you can list them here. You don't need to list them all, but at least you can list them, the first three, let's say, and then when by the time the user will start entering Funchu, there are not so many cities with Funchu in the name, so it will give you some like a drop down of suggestions. That would be a nice thing to do. Another nice thing to do, but that is more complicated, and I think you will need a Google API for that, and I don't really think it's it needs to be done in this project. But let's say if I put something like Funchnal, or I will put Funchal, it but it's like a small typo. So I would suggest you, if you want to make this project harder and way more advanced, try. I think Google API should have something like that for to search for the most appropriate word. I think they should have that. Another small thing over here, as I said, like let's say I put cow and it tells me city not found, try again, which is fine, but I don't really remember what city I have entered. So what was the error like? Did I enter Funchal and Funchal is not found or what? So I would say don't clear this state completely. If there is an error, don't clear this state. Make it this cal, so it will be something like this. City not found, try again, and like fun cal remain here, so person will see like, oh, okay, I entered something wrong. Like, okay, funchal should work, and funchal works, indeed works. Okay, I think that's about it. So it's a few points. Add temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius, or at least give the ability to change it. Humidity feels like it's fine, but again, Fahrenheit and Celsius over here. Do something with the timings and make sure that they are actually either aligned to the time of the city you are searching in their time zone, or show one in UTC, which is you are showing right now, and one in the local time for the city you are searching for. That would be a nice little thing. You can actually talk on the interview, like why did you do it that way and how did you approach the problem. Okay, let's go next then. The article, blah blah. Very fun project. I was able to dive into Redux, manipulate data, etc. One suggestion I will actually right now, I think it's public. Yeah, I think it's a public one. So what I will do, I will actually, uh, I will actually clone this project. And oh, sorry. And let me go cd projects. I'm not sure if I have streams here. Okay, mkdir videos, I'll say like that. Videos and cd videos and git, sorry, my bad. Git clone your project. Okay, if you don't mind, I will contribute to it, or I won't, but at least I will just show you, because then they will be, some of them may ask like why somebody was contributing and what they have contributed and blah blah blah. So I don't want that. Cd weather up. Okay, let's no, not this one. Okay, let me just do it again. Code. Okay, let's go. What are you using? You're using npm. Okay, npm install. Let's go. Hopefully everything will be installed. Redux hook store, slices, app, components. Okay. And what is your star script? Run dev. Okay, npm run dev. Okay, localhost. And it runs in localhost. Good. So, let me go through it. What is that? Description, icons. Okay. App tsx function. You have unused variable. You can remove that. Div class name app. You are using class name over here and section over here. Okay. Flex call, justify start, mx3, mt6. A question here is why here you are using the CSS for the app, which is this one, while you could use the tailwind here, because here is basically flex 100h flex column space between. So I think you could rewrite it like flex call h 100. I think I am not really huge tailwind fan. justify. No, what is it called? Ah, come on. Give me justify between. Oh, sorry. Justify between. I think it should be same. No, it's not because it's not 100 page. Just for a second. 100 page. I don't remember. I really don't use Tailwind that often. Um, where is it? Oh, okay, H screen. And okay, so here we just can say H screen. Yeah. Okay, so it just looks better. It just looks better that you have everything in Tailwind, because why would you put that into the CSS? It's not something really custom, so you can just use Tailwind for that, you know. And okay, you have a header, you have search bar, and you have weather bar. So this card, I would say you can remove this. Remove this line. And okay, let's go through your components. I already see that these are not used. Okay. I think you said you have used TypeScript here, but I don't really see any TypeScript yet. I see here value any. This is not really the best TypeScript use. Package JSON, your React is version 18. So in version 18, you don't need to import React anymore. If you haven't used use app dispatch, you don't really need it. You can remove it. If you haven't used this fetch data and you are not using that, as I see right now here, again, you can just remove it. Your default color, it's not used in the app, in this page at least, remove it. So you have colors. Okay, so your default color, is it somewhere else used? No, so these two lines also omitted, I think. Return the color that matches any weather description. Return val, object any, val any, let y, object val. You could just do it this way, like this, honestly, and it would be fine. Um, so, or it could be even reduced further to something like this, and that would be fine. Are you using this often? It's used in two places. Well, it's completely fine. Wait a second. You have here colors, which is assets colors, and then you reuse the assets colors in three places. So I suppose that you want it to be this way. And I would do it colors, and then I would use these colors over here. Colors and colors, this way. So you can see that this is the constant, and this constant is this. And it's coming from the assets JSON. So it's better. I think so. With regards to this function, it could be done really like that, but you use TypeScript here, and you have just put it any, which is not the best use of the TypeScript. And if I would be somewhere who is interviewing it, my first question would be, why is it any here? So what you do here, basically, you just want to have a value which serves as a key of the object. And here, down below, you use like, this is my return value, this is my color, and this is my description. Or I think it's description, it's not really descriptive. So it's pretty simple. Your object here in all of these places is colors. So since you don't have the color types over here, You don't know these colors. What you could do here, this is type of colors. And now, of course, it will complain like blah, blah, blah. You cannot do this. Implicitly have type any and so on. So this value, it will serve as a key of this object, which means, and this is your object, you can see we have inherited the types from the colors, and since it's just a JSON, which is string, it knows what it needs to be. So this value, if you logically, it's a key, so it should be a string, but the string will not be the right option because string can be any. It can be any string, whatever you want. So in reality, it should be something key of type of colors, I think. Yeah. So basically what you say here, this type, you have this type of colors, which is your type of this object with your different colors. And key of type of colors means that value can be an enum only of the key strings for that particular object. So like this, now your function is secure. If I will try to use this return val with something different, like let's say apple, banana, whatever, and I will pass it the value of something, it will give you an error. This will not work and it will give you an error. So we can try and console log this. We can try and console log it, save it, and it says the argument of type purple string is not assignable to parameter of default string, error, string, range, string, miss, string, blah, 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 blah. So the TypeScript right now tells you basically that no, it's wrong because this function receives only object of type of colors and the value should be only the type of the key of that object. So right now this function is type proof and secure. Let's go next. Let T string this and that. In this case, while you think that you really need it, the string is not required to be here because TypeScript is smart enough to know that this is a string. Though it can be a good thing just if you need it. Though the naming of this value is extremely bad. I don't understand. I don't know what to call it because what is T? Is it temporary? Is it, what is it? I really don't know. Let's go next. Same here. It's not extremely bad. I just don't understand it. So I don't know what is this. What is this? Okay. So desk. I understand the temp is something. Okay, temp is temperature. Temp is temperature. Let me go to the app selector now and investigate what is that. Okay, I went something wrong. It's not the place where I want to be. Your state. Let me go to your state. Wait a second. Your store. Reducer, weather reducer. Root state. Okay, your hooks. Weather slice. Initial state data. What is desk? Desk is looking state, weather, data, weather, state, weather, data, weather, state, weather, data, weather. Okay, I'm really lost. What is your desk? And I don't understand what is it. Most probably it is the description you mean. Course issue? Is it course? Invalid IP key, of course. Okay. Child? what is desk? Okay, so this is a description. This is this few clause. So write description or weather description, or even better, like, yeah, I mean, weather description should be enough. Okay. Then you have app selector, you have loading, error, data input. You are not using this, so you want only the loading. Loading is enough. You don't need others. I don't see you use this code and name here, so I don't know why do we need them. We can remove it. If loading and no temperature, again this T, which I don't know what. I suppose this T means that the what do you call it? My God, the header color. I'm just curious. Let me check. And it's in RGB, which is give me hex. CEO, yeah, I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. So yeah, name it something meaningful. Else, if description 0 does not equal default, the return value colors description. See the issue here. Argument of type string array is not assignable to parameter of type default, error, rain, blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure if you wanted to keep a description here or it was supposed to be something like that. And your description here, description, it is array of strings. So I'm not really sure how you were passing the array of strings as a value, which is a string. I don't know how it was working. Let me just have a look. I'm really curious now. Let me just copy this thing. Let me return back. Okay, so console log val. So this will happen only if there is loading happening and there is no temperature. No, this will happen. This. Other than that, if description 0 does not equal default, okay. The description. Let's console log description. I'm really curious now. Shell. I'm not even getting the description. If we, really? The refresh is on click, but what does it do? Background color T. Use app selector state, but this thing is being changed, right? Ah, Jesus, why everything is blue now? Durban. Okay, Durban has been changed. But it didn't it was not triggered from here. Because my console log didn't trigger anything. It was not triggered. Wait. Now let me investigate it a bit further. Handle submit, dispatch, fetch data. Fetch data, create a thing thunk, weather fetch data, async city string, reject with value, AP key, import meta environment, blah, blah, API URL, const URL, this and that, const response access, so we get URL, code, return response data. dispatch fetch data. This is your fetch data. Set input, state input action payload. Wait, why it's not being triggered? I am not getting that. This does work though. I don't understand why it's not being triggered. Header on render. This is disk. But I can't even console log this disk, even on... Because I am a freaking idiot, that's why. And here I don't have a key to do that. Wow. I'm still not getting how you are passing the array of strings to the function which gets the string. So it was taking the array of strings, and since it was only one, it will convert the array of string. No, I don't think so. It should be doing that. Oh, yes, it was. So the array of string can, if you pass the array of a single string to an object, okay, let me just check it, because this is a bit mad JavaScript thing. And whatever. So if I will pass A of array A, okay. This is why TypeScript is good. So you actually passing here the array of string. So you were passing this one. You were passing the array of, I don't know, rain, let's say. And it was working because, yeah, it was working this way because the array of a single string with a single string in it was converting to a string and serving as a key, which is completely wrong, and this is a bug. So the thing is, should be do at least this. So it will not accept your string because your string is not one of these. So what your description should be, or basically what you should be returning from here. So we have state whether map description main. So this one, this should not be just a string. Ideally, what it should be, it will be a bit complicated here right now, so we will do it another way. I will just show it to you here. We will add in the source something like types.ts, and we will create a type of colors, this one, and let me do it this way. What we will do, we will import, I think it should be this way. We will import a set of JSON, the colors, this thing, and type colors, color types will be type of colors. And right now, your key type color keys is key of color types. Now, when you go here, your main will be actually the type of color keys. And we will export it here. We will edit here that it is color keys, and it cannot be this, so it should be default by default, and then it should work. So from here, we don't need this type of colors anymore. We can just put color types, and here we will put color keys, and it will work. And then your description is argument of type default error is not assignable to parameter of type default. Yeah, because we need to still pass here it as a first element in the array, and now everything works well. So that was an issue. Since you are using only this description 0, you are not using any other thing. What you can do is you can basically just return here this way. So then you can return this way, and you can do this because you always expect to return to receive the very first element in the array, because you are not able to receive it's cloudy and sunny in the same time, right? Oh, I hope I was not talking just into the void all this time. Okay, we don't need this more. I would. No, well, this function looks okay to me. The refresh, it's okay. Background color T. You can actually do this way simpler without any T or thing. What you can do here, your background color is always this. It's just your background color is always this, or in other words, if if this if this does not equal, then you say this. If this does equal, then we say this. Wait, no. Okay. If this does not equal to default, then this thing does not equal to default, this thing. Otherwise, this thing. And I believe it should work exactly same. And you don't need this loading over here, and you don't need this template here. And T is not defined header. Do you use T somewhere else? I don't think so. You use it in footer? Okay, yeah. So the because it was in the scope, so let me just do it like this. Let T for now, and I will need to use your API key. Sorry to do that. It's a bit of hacking, but this is why you need to hide your API key, because this is wrong to keep it here. If it is an API key, yeah, it is an API key. Wait. Where did I see that? Your API key. Hacker. Okay. So it does work, and it does change what you needed to change. So you don't really need to go through this T and reassign T and so on. You can just say like it's if it is default. If it is not the default, then return this calculation. If it is default, then please give me the default color. Even I would say this should have been wait, goes to the constants, const default color equal this one, and you use the color over here, and then do basically exactly the same thing here. So you I like this piece over here, you take this tile, it is exactly the same function over here, so we don't need this function and we don't need this, and you can just add it here. Well, we you add it here. Like, and oh shit. And I think it should work. Let me check. And it does work. So you can say Durban. Durban works. You can say Melbourne. Melbourne works. So this is one thing, and it is way cleaner right now. If you see, it is way cleaner. Okay. I won't put this thing really. I will just better record it to you and you have a look. And if you want, I will keep this code locally. So if you want, I can share this code with you. Okay, so that was headers. Then we have the search bar. I think the search bar was pretty simple. You have defined types, but you haven't used them. Input value. Your input is string. I think you can remove this. What? Okay. I think you can remove this. They are not used. These two types. At least I don't see the use of them for now. Okay, search dispatch. Input is use app selector. Okay, this is your input, which is this one. Your placeholder you have here, class names over here, type text. I'm not going much into the styling. I'm not paying attention to that. I'm more for the JavaScripting. Why this empty? I did break something? No, I don't think so. Or I did. I did break something. Wait. Did I break? Okay. Remove empty class name. Or, of course, if you will be using it in the future, then of course keep it. And I think this is not going to work. So let's get. Yeah, this will work. Okay. Class name, search bar. Why search bar is big? I don't know what this uh, this search bar is weird. You can remove this, I think, or maybe you needed but clean up it before. Maybe you needed it for some development. Your event handle submit, but I so it means on click it will submit too. But I don't really think you need this on submit here because this is the form. So it will submit in any case because it has on submit on that. Yeah, you don't need it. If you have a form and the button is part of the form, when you click and the type of the button is submit, when you click on that button, it will automatically use the on submit from the form. So you don't need the on click event over there. Handle change, input on change, dispatch set input, target value. It's not bad, but why? I don't really know why do you need this. and I cannot really justify your decision to keep it here because I believe you can just. Okay, wait, set input. Let me check. Maybe set something. You are just setting a state here, and my question is, why do you need it? Because your handle submit does submit from here to the input. So what you could do, you don't need this. I mean, you don't need this. I'm not sure, but let me just check. You have input, set input, use state, and it's empty. You don't need use effect, remove the unused variables. They always look meh. And you can remove this too, as I said. So you don't need this set input here, as the dispatch especially. What you need here, you just need set input to be a target value. And over here, input as nothing. And this fetch data, you will use the same input. And I believe it will work exactly the same. So you don't need it. I didn't want to check it that much here. I believe you don't need it here too. Just because you don't really need it. Like the only thing it does here is controlling your description. Well, okay, it can be here because yeah, you don't need to keep the state inside. It's better to keep it outside to have the behavior of the styles. So yeah, you can keep it here. But here, well, you can just keep input here, and you don't need input over here. The set input reducer, you don't need it. Wait, you don't need it. Really, you can just easily go with the extra reducers. Like you don't need reducers here at all. I would say, basically something like that. You don't need this set input here, and you don't need it here, of course. Not required, and it will work. It still works. Okay, so and then you have the. This is the last one. This is the last one. Again, you are not using temp. You are not using this to. No need. Remove. React 18 does not require to have React as import. Input is not being used. Remove. Okay. Let card section is default. So your default is div class blah blah blah, and we don't need it here too. Okay. It's not bad if you have it. You just don't need it anymore. I also had this the habit of writing this React, but in React 18 it's not required. Okay, it's just the default color. I see what you did here, which is okay. This is if data ID okay. Let me go from the top. So you can clearly do it here. You don't need to on every on if you keep it here on every re-render, it will tell like okay, card section is default, and we don't need it. This should be a constant. No, not a constant because you reassign it, but you know what I mean. And card section, okay, is the sure. If loading equals pending and there is no error, card section is loader. If data ID exists, so we have received the data from the loading is idle, and error is false, or you can just say the same what you have done here on top if error is not true. Card section is card. What is card? Ooh, Ooh, card is interesting. And loader is just simple thing. It's loading by default. Okay. Your error cut section is error. Error is, again, I don't know why do you use it. You just don't need it. Really, like you don't need anything. Any of this you don't need. It's just a simple stateless component. And if error cut section, ta 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 ta. Okay, and then you have a section which is weather container. Again, what is weather container? I think you have just used it for yourself, development purposes, but you can remove it. Class name, empty class name, remove these two. And okay, this still does work, I believe. Madeira, loader, Madeira, yeah, all good. Okay, now let's go to the error, to the default, no, to the card. I think the card was a big one. Yes, the card is a big one. Let's do it, and I think it's getting a bit too long, so let's just how long am I recording already? Sure, almost 1 hour. Wow. Okay, let's go. Dispatch, use dispatch. Constant humidity feels like use up selector data main. Okay. Description is weather up x. Don't use this x. Just put what is that main. Const name use up selector state weather data name. Okay. City input. You don't need this input here anymore. Where are you using this input here? Uh, okay, wait. Maybe we will need to use input. Let me think about that. Sunrise, sunset. Okay. Weather temp, month floor, today, date, new date, day, month, year. Okay. Convert sunrise time. Okay, it's coming in milliseconds, I think, or seconds, or whatever. Daytime, nighttime, not used. If name does not equal input and loading equals pending, dispatch, fetch data city. Um, wait a minute, but what does it mean? Because you have this fetch data here. What does this do? Name. If name does not equal input, um, this is what I was wondering. What this actually does. Um, so if name does not equal input, so if I don't really, I would like you to comment a bit on this. Data for the cards. The data for the cards is all taken from the request, and the request is coming from here. So when I'm changing something here, it passes the data inside. So it does not really need to refetch it here again when the city is changing, because even if the city is changing, it is changing only on the form submit in the search. It cannot change on anything else. So this is pointless refetching. I mean, this does not even being triggered because you are clearing the input and your name will never be equal to the input. There will never a time when the name is not equal to the input and loading is pending, because this is the time when you are actually loading something. So this is weird. Daytime, nighttime, I didn't see that used somewhere. It's unused variable. More see more. Oh, okay. This is the toggle. Okay, toggle. Where is the toggle used? If toggle exists, then see more data. Um, Wait. Name, icon, description. Okay. What is this? Toggle. See more data. Soles chevron. Okay, this is the chevron up, chevron down. So this is a lot of code repeating. If you ask me, I would rewrite it this way. You put this one here. You render it. This can be self-closing tag because there is nothing inside. Second of all, what I would do instead, you put this into the backticks. Yeah, and you need to put it in the braces too, the curly braces. And you have only this thing is being changed, right? As I see, yes. So what you can do, you can say toggle this one, otherwise this one. And you don't really need any of this. And it will work the same. And I don't think there was any transition. So this is exactly the same functionality, but double less code. And that's it. You just ask if toggle is true, then return this chevron up. If it is not, then return this chevron down. I mean, you can go even crazier here, and you could go something like this. You could go something like toggle up, otherwise down. And it should also work. Up, down, up, down. And this is even less code. This is what I would suggest you to do. You don't need to write like this. This is normal. I have been writing like this for so many times. You can just write like this. If toggle is true, then this will be rendered. If toggle is not true, then nothing will be rendered. And you have humidity, fields like temperature, sunrise date X, sunset date X, which is all coming from here. Yes. And I think this is it. I will just go through components quickly. Navigation, search bar, card default icon. Where is this icon used? Card icon. It's above their temperature. You mean this icon? This one. Yeah, this one. Okay. So let me just go through the icon again. Not needed because you don't use it. You don't use this too. Your temp is not being used. Remove. You remove. Your rejected is not being used. Remove. And again, this return value, if you are using it here and you are using it in the what I think, no, not the app, this navigation, I think. Yeah, so it's using exactly the same thing. Extract it as one single function somewhere into the helper functions file because it's exactly the same thing and you're just rewriting it doubly. And then you have source T. No. This is data icons. It's just named the same way. You know what? You could go even further. You could make this return value as to receive a generic type, from TypeScript. You can just Google what the generic types are if you don't know, and they will work. But I would just suggest you to rename it in something different and not return val, because this also return val, and call this as the return colors, and this is return icon, and that is it. And you can literally rewrite it in the same way, like here, and then instead of this t, let t, and so on and so on, you can just say this. You just use this, and you put it here, and you don't really need any of this t thing. You just do it this way, and it is exactly the same. And wait, it's breaking. T is not. Ow. Okay. Uh, New York. It's the same. So that's about it. Um, it took a bit more time, but I made a deep dive, and it's good. It works. It has some small things that need to be changed, needs to be refactored, but in general, everything works well. Think about how to hide this API key because it's not secure. You have hidden it in the file, but it is still visible into the request. So try to think of a way how to hide it. There is a way. And with regards to the documentation, one thing I wanted to say, do this as a code, as a markdown file, which means if I can change this, edit it, let's say, and here, this one, you just edit like this and like this, and propose changes. I will cancel them now, of course, but it will look something like this. So it's an actual code and you can just copy that. And that's about it. Uh, Thank you so much uh, for listening me for so long. And I hope you will like it. And I hope it was useful. Thank you. Good luck. It was a good job. And clean up your code a bit and it will be good. And think about those things I have suggested you to implement, the suggestions one and the guess of the correct thing that the user tried to say. It would be interesting to implement, and you can even implement it actually manually, which is again a cool thing. So thank you so much, and anytime if you need anything else, please let me know. I think you will never ask me again. Okay, thank you.